Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back. I hope you were able to find your way back to this game from the previous game. This is the second part of SixjaxMajor versus ONEostojiy from the winners bracket round 3 in the open bracket at MLG Columbus 2011. So if you haven't seen part 1 of game 1, go ahead and go back to that. I should have provided a link at the beginning of this video somewhere, and go ahead and back and watch that because you don't want to be spoiled. This is a great game so far, and let's just go ahead and jump right into it. We left off with SixjaxMajor having a pretty good lead and some awesome harassment everywhere across the map, and we do have an engagement in the middle of the map. A bunch of mules getting picked off for free, as well as a drop at the top left of this map, and there's honestly harassment everywhere. SixjaxMajor is just relentless with all of this pressure coming from the right and from the top left in his main. So SixjaxMajor definitely coming from all the directions and making Ostojiy work extremely hard to keep any base alive. I mean, SixjaxMajor has just gone absolutely everywhere and destroyed almost every expansion he has encountered. So it looks like Ostojiy is down to just 2 bases, his main and his natural. And if I want to look at the income tab really quick. It looks like we have a drop at the natural expansion, but those Marines do get cleaned up quite quickly. But at the same time, we have the drop in the main as well, and these drones are going to come to work too. But he does pick up and lift off and fly away. Stumbling with my words because so much stuff is going on here. But yeah, I was gonna look at the income tab. 46 to 80, and look at that, only 100 minerals coming out. I think, is that per minute or per I'm pretty sure that's per minute. I'm not entirely sure, but the fact of the matter is Ostojiy definitely behind in this game. Might have to try to make something happen here. He does have Zergling swinging around trying to find a vulnerable spot in SixjaxMajor's army. But here we go. It looks like we have a culmination of units coming over here, so we could have an engagement here pretty soon. SixjaxMajor coming forward. Only has 2 siege, actually 4, a lot of siege actually, so he should be able to deal with this quite nicely. But actually, this is a pretty formidable force if I can be honest. I mean, 4 fully charged. I keep calling them fully charged. I don't know the proper way to say that, but fully charged infestors along with 3 broodlords, ultralisks, zerglings, corruptors. So every unit in the Zerg arsenal has been used thus far, and every unit in the Terran arsenal is nearly being used. I mean, we have ghosts coming out. Only thing we're missing are banshees and battle cruisers and Thors. So definitely keep an eye out for that. Looks like there was a drop over here by SixjaxMajor, dropping on the low ground. Oh, but a really good fungal growth from ONEostojiy. I keep calling him NRG. I apologize. But that drop does get cleaned up quite quickly, so if Ostojiy could do anything to get back into this game, that's what he has to do. He has to eliminate these drops from SixjaxMajor while reducing the amount of damage it does to him. So every free drop he can pick off he gets that much closer to getting back in this game, but he is definitely behind at this point, down 188 to 151 supply. And here we go. Major does have a cluster of Marines getting eliminated by those Zerglings, and 1 lone Marine checking on the natural third. And wow, Major is just in such a good position right now. 4 bases, 2 are mining, 3 are mining, actually 2.5 are mining. So 2.5 mineral lines compared to, okay, Ostojiy did get this mineral line back saturated, and same with this one. So Ostojiy trying to climb his way back into this, but honestly, he's having trouble finding a point to engage as these tanks are so good about being spread out. So it's really hard to choose a place to really engage this tank army, but he has to be really careful with his broodlords and just let those broodlords use those broodlings on those tanks, force those tanks to unsiege, because that's what the broodlings do. Like, honestly, they're not really a unit per se. The broodlord is the unit that shoots them, so he's fine losing those broodlords. And what happens is, or the broodlings I should say, but what happens is those broodlings get dropped on these tanks and they're forced to unsiege because they just hit each other, and the splash damage causes them to destroy their own units. So it looks like Ostojiy is amassing his army over here, making sure nothing is going on. I'm trying to keep my eye on the mini-map. So many drops have happened from SixjaxMajor. I don't think I've missed any, but we do have one over here getting ready to be used. I would assume he doesn't have it hotkeys, so perhaps he just forgot about it. I wonder if Ostojiy has seen it, but it looks like Ostojiy has found out about this 5th expansion that is trying to go down from SixjaxMajor, and SixjaxMajor is now max 200 against the 162 supply of ONEostojiy. I think I'm getting used to his name, but we do have some Vikings coming forward and picking off some free overlords. Of course, these Vikings were made to combat those broodlords, but if Ostojiy has some really good infestor control, he can eliminate those Vikings quite easily. He's landing those Vikings. That is really interesting. I'm not sure why he did that, but we do have a drop in the main. Major did finally remember about this drop over here, and at the same time we have another drop going to the natural expansion. It may be picked off, but these Marines are going to get picked off by the Zerglings. No, they get picked up back into the medevac, and this drop down here was cleaned up. It looked like, no, it came up here. So Major trying to harass everywhere. He is absolutely everywhere on this map. So really good play from SixjaxMajor. At the same time, he's trying to push forward with his main army, and these Vikings will all get destroyed. And ONEostojiy honestly is handling this pretty well. I mean, these drones are not able to mine right now, but he's setting some Zerglings to try to deal with that, and at the same time trying to deal with this main force from SixjaxMajor in the middle of the map. And he's not mining from his main. He still has a couple of minerals there. Not sure if it's worth it to continue mining from there. And it looks like this lone Viking will be ignored. No, he is shooting at the Broodlord, so ONEostojiy should drop down and infest the Terra. No, waits for some mules to come over to deal with that. And that drop was cleaned up at the top part of this map, and he continues to have this base saturated. Look at all those drones. So plenty of drones mining over there. So ONEostojiy definitely trying to work his way back into this game. It looks like SixjaxMajor is sacrificing these SCVs after all their hard work. They get sent to their death by their commanding officer. So I would not like to be one of those SCVs. It looks like we have a little bit of an altercation, a ghost infestor battle here. Oh my gosh, if he can kill all of those ghosts, that would actually be a pretty big deal. He does get one full growth off, but some snipes do go down, killing one of those infestors. And it looks like there is going to be some more Zerglings some more SCVs being sent to their death. Of course, the reason SixjaxMajor is doing that is to clear supply room so his attacking army can be that much bigger, and he feels that he has enough orbital commands so that he can just rely on those mules to get those minerals, and really only needs those SCVs for the refineries. And oh my gosh, he does have so many orbital commands. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 orbital commands. 5 orbital commands, so plenty of mulage action going on the Terran side of the map here. And now both armies are maxed, so we may see an engagement in the near future here. We have some more SCVs being thrown to their death, and some Vikings are coming forward. This is going to be very crucial. I mean, you want to keep your Broodlords back. You don't want your Broodlords to be killed by the Vikings, and you want to keep your Infestors near the front so you can fungal growth anything. But at the other side of the map, these ghosts are going to try to be sniping, so really micro-intensive action going on here, and we could have a big engagement coming up. They are both maxed, and we'll have to wait and see what happens. Both players are really gentle about coming forward, and these Broodlords are committing themselves and getting picked off by some Vikings, and some huge EMPs go onto those infestors, so no more fungal growth and no more neural parasites from them. And has he decided it's time? Here we go. He's coming forward. The tanks are on siege, but ONEostojiy deciding to pull back, deciding it is not his time to go. And look at all these tanks and Marines, ladies and gentlemen, and these Vikings. ONEostojiy is definitely on his back foot right now. He's retreating, but he just keeps running away and never engaging, and every time he runs away, a little bit of his army does get picked off. And so, yeah, not looking good for ONEostojiy. SixjaxMajor just playing extremely well. The only thing that's a little bit worrying for me is he only had, like, look at all these lowered, look at the health of these Marines. I mean, pretty low, but it looks like the tanks are on stage. ONEostojiy has decided this is his best time to attack. The Zerglings are trying to connect with those tanks, but all these Marines are doing so much damage that the Banelings come forward and actually go up on the tanks. He would rather them go onto the Marines. Obviously, it would have been nice if he had Banelings coming from the other side, and as I say that, here we go. Banelings from the other side. They need to connect. Oh, and they connect with so many Marines, and all these Marines are in the low health. Only 2 medevacs here to help heal them up, and a bunch of tanks to complement this army. So I'm not sure if ONEostojiy will be able to engage this, even though those Marines are so low on health. And Major picking up some of those Marines wants to do some damage to this other expansion over here. At the same time, Major taking out this expansion once again, but honestly, he can kill all these Marines with his drones if he wanted to. They're so low health and no medevacs to help him out. And we do have a lot of Ultralists coming out from ONEostojiy. 4 in the production tab and 3 on the ground that I can see. I'll open up the units tab after this battle is over, but a Baneling does go off on those Marauders, and there's action just going on everywhere in this map. This is such an amazing game, and it looks like there is the GG from ONEostojiy. SixjaxMajor with some very impressive all-around gameplay. Honestly, his macro was amazing. His drop potential was amazing, dropping absolutely everywhere, keeping ONEostojiy on his toes, not letting him commit to an attack. Really good positioning with all his tanks, so nothing but good things to say about SixjaxMajor, and he will go ahead 1-0 in this best of 3 series. That's right, this is a best of 3 from MLG Columbus 2011. I'll provide a link right about now about leading you to the next game. Game 2 between both of these amazing players. Stumbling my words so much because these are just an amazing game, guys. So see you in Game 2.